To live a life of courage, to live a life with your heart wide open and ready, I chose to speak with courageous, heart centered, profoundly authentic Satya. May she remind you that you are enough.
So I wanted to start off with who are you?
Just
Who are
vast,
you? Who is
expansive.
Satya? Yeah. Who is Satya de la Paz?
Oh, yeah, this is a really beautiful question. And
hmm
also, yeah, I think the first response is, I feel like to be is it to be in a process of just growing and becoming and unlearning. I'm a, spirit divinity having a human experience. I'm a creator. I'm a human who longs to connect with other folks and somehow found a livelihood which centers that and allows me to
hmm
do that with a lot of purpose and love and with lots of opportunities to grow and learn.
Yeah, beautiful. I think that I will always remember hearing the story of your many journeys towards yoga because you are the founder of Soulflow Oakland, and I just remember you were mentioning that when you were in grad school, you would go to yoga class and you would just be, I think you said something to the nature of you just felt comfortable there. Can you expound on that? Like, when did you find yoga?
Yeah, so it's interesting. In some ways, yoga is like the reason why I'm alive because my
hmm
dad posted and what were those called back in the wanted section of the newspaper?
Yeah,
Yeah, I forget what those are called. We don't even really have those
the
anymore.
want
But
ads.
the want ads, yeah. So my dad
Yeah.
posted in the want ads that he was looking for yoga students, and my mom responded to the ad. This was New Hampshire in the
Oh.
late 70s, where most people still had never even heard of yoga.
hmm
Um, and turns out my dad didn't actually really know that much about yoga. He knew a lot about martial arts,
Yeah.
but and so my mom responded to the ad, and they fell in love. So in some ways, like yoga is the reason why I'm here. Um,
Interesting.
yeah. And my mom was my first yoga teacher. But when I really intensified my commitment and really like a surrender into yoga, because it was the difference about whether I could actually show up as a K through 12 teacher the next day. I tried to quit so many times, and I was working full time, more than full time, and I was in grad school, and I could find some time to do. I would go to a yoga class at night, and then there was like some feeling. I like touched some peace and there was some feeling of resilience that would come through.
Can you speak a little bit more about what made you leave the education space and then jump full on into yoga?
Yeah. I mean, education is definitely was my first love, and I there's parts of me that really miss that world. Like I don't,
Mm.
that was a world where a student would see me down the hallway and like run down the hallway and hug me, kind of like knock down hugs, which I don't get in a yoga space.
Yeah.
I do get lots of great hugs, but not hugs like that. And
Yeah.
just the spontaneity and just like the youthful innovation and the trickster energy. I do miss that. Um, and it became really clear to me at some point that I could be better of service teaching yoga and than being stuck in a place with so much bureaucracy where I was hated when I became an assistant principal. It's like, oh, there was a certain level where like students and like families didn't like me. And then like the upper management didn't like me. I was just, yeah, blocked in that place. That didn't feel good. And
Hmm.
it felt like, well, there has to be another way to serve other than like in a model that feels so institutional and rigid
Yeah.
and taxing and toxic.
Another question that I have for you, just in this time right now, we're in December and we're inching close to winter solstice, and I know you're somebody who loves astrology and the constellations and such. Can you tell me where you feel you are in this liminal period as we are getting close to winter solstice and where you hope to be as we blossom out of it?
Sure. Although I have to confess, I'm a little bit of an astrology hack. Being in the Bay Area, everyone thinks that they're an astrologer, so there is a little bit of it's a little tongue in cheek for me. It's like
Yeah.
I'm tuned in at some level, but another level I'm like somewhat agnostic, especially
Um,
living with uh, my partner, like a serious. Well, I don't know want to call him a serious New Yorker, but he's not into the astrology, more rational minded. But I mean, I do definitely tune into energy, whether it's just, even if it's not astrology, like I definitely feel the energy at this time. And I mean, my practices, which feel really similar to a lot of the yoga practices, are to be in a place of deep listening, like, okay,
mhm,
is it really aligned to be on screen so much right now? Is it really
mhm,
aligned to have hard deadlines? Is it really aligned to be like um, signing contracts? Or is this much generosity actually possible for my heart right now?
mm,
And a lot of things are pointing towards just being more gentle, asking more open-ended questions, and like how to be in a space of community care. We've got some solstice events this weekend at Soulflow, and it's reminding me to tend to the flame. Like a lot of that symbolism with the solstice comes up for me, and um, yeah, how do we just and reminding ourselves, like, just by gathering, we don't even have to like say anything, but just by like being around each other at this time, like we're tending to like the collective flame of goodness and courage, beauty, resilience, and also like our own inner flame.
how did Satya Bodyworks become Soulflow Oakland?
Yes, you're one of the few who know like the Satya Body Works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really just honor that version of
Mm-hmm.
this work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it came out of feeling really like lonely and isolated as an entrepreneur. Um, and and knowing like, I mean, I guess the name Satya Bodyworks was never, I think you helped me come up with it actually. Is that true?
Well, no, I was just around when it came through because what
Uh,
we were finding was with Thai yoga, you couldn't say that you were a massage therapist. You had to
mm,
say body works. So then you was
yeah. Oh
like Satya
yeah.
Body Works.
Yeah. So yeah, laying flowers and incense at the feet of like that version of myself, and all the people,
Mm-hmm.
including you, who were like, instrumental in
Mm-hmm.
that variation of this soul service. Um, yeah, so part of it was a transition from like, oh, for this work to be sustainable, it can't mostly be about me. And I don't want it
Mm-hmm.
to be mostly be about me. So part of it
Yeah.
was like my own spiritual evolution, like taking myself out of the name, which was a really, actually in some ways, like a really funny transition because like it wasn't so public. It's like all of a sudden Satya Body Works was Soul Flow. And like some of the people who've been around for a while were like, what's a soul flow? um, and really, it kind of during the pandemic became really clear um, because, yeah, I realized that the key to me continuing to uh, serve in the world was just to have more like people who were like colleagues and partners,
Mm-hmm.
and really a longing for like to be in the co-creation process with folks and to like decondition some of the ways that I learned, particularly through like going to like a fancy ass college. Like, this is the way you get ahead, and this is how you define success. So
Hmm.
Soul Flow is kind of like a dismantling and a really, like kind of reminding myself of the power of like Black feminism and radical inclusion and organizing more from that place opposed to like a place of like um, I'm a small business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very intersectional, I feel. Like when I look
Yeah.
at the visions and mission statement, and I hope you don't like wheeze when I like read it, everything about it just seems very much in the vein of uh the Black feminist tradition of intersectionality. So, uh, bear with me. I'm going to read it because I think it's very important to where we're going here. So, Soulflow Oakland is co-creating a world where everyone can thrive and there's abundant, culturally relevant access to healthcare, including yoga and meditation. And we are in rhythm with nature. We are part of a global movement that honors authentic lineage and centers healing and liberation practices for BIPOC, LGBTQ+, and folks with disabilities. We create a place where people genuinely feel a part of the community because they feel witnessed, included, and uplifted. We offer scholarships and sliding scale pricing to make yoga, meditation, and dance financially accessible. During these difficult, pivotal times, we are committed to offering healing workshops, retreats, gatherings, and resources that access the whole self, ignite joy, and inspire our most courageous heart towards wise, compassionate action in the world. And we offer workshops on nonviolent communication, resilience, functional body movement, self-defense, and meditation. If there was anything that I would say, working at Soulflow Oakland, what lit me on fire was giving scholarships and offerings to folks who really needed to come into the space and feel that healing and just feel like
Mhm.
taken care of and witnessed. And so I know, having known you since you were in the political space, um, how did you add all of that? Because I feel like you added all of your history and then you brought it forth with this offering, and it's affordable and it's accessible and it's like, for everyone. So,
Mm.
yeah.
I mean, slowly.
Mm-hmm.
I added it slowly. Um, and it came from a place of a lot of pain. And it's st
Mm-hmm.
and I still have pain around just looking around at offerings and not seeing us represented in them.
Yeah.
Or like looking at retreats and teachers, and I'm like, ooh, and then like, oh, it's $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, nope. And yeah, so like that pain of being excluded really drove me to this place of like, yeah, this is what we need to heal. This
Yes.
is what we need to um, yeah, move toward collective liberation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it has kind of been like when I say slowly, it just feels like it's been layered in through like everyone who comes into Soul Flow like adds their values, adds the ways that they're growing, and helps us be more accessible, and helps us have like hard conversations about like one of the more recent one is like, oh, how are we being really intentional with our language about including folks with larger bodies, and is that actually included, and then at some point like, oh, okay, we're saying um, welcome larger bodies, but do we actually know in all of our classes, like the teachers know how to modify this pose for a larger body? Are there actually larger bodies in our images? So that's been a growth edge for us recently, and I know that we're going to continue to grow in that way.
And I mean, when you see people embracing the practices, when you see them coming and like not just a smile on their face, but like this feeling of watching them rest in the space, how does that make you feel? to know
Makes
that,
me feel
all
like a
of that is
mama.
good. Yeah. All right, Virgo.
Yeah, most recently, there's people. I think one of the beautiful things about having a refuge is that, sometimes you don't see people for a while,
Hmm.
and you're like, yeah, you send prayers to them. You're not sure, and there's people who just move in and out of our community. People move in and out of the Bay for a lot of different reasons, and we have someone who was in the Bay, and then she moved to LA, and she came recently to the space, and she's pregnant, and she's like, this is like the safest place for me in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And she's like, I always trust, like it doesn't really matter who's teaching. Like I trust that I can show up here, even like when I'm just passing through town. So yeah, just I think gratitude comes up. Like, yeah, there's like some proud mama stuff that's just like, oh yeah, this can be a landing, like a soft landing place for folks.
Yeah. What does Soulflow want to see in 2026?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, part of it is I'm definitely calling in more community led spaces, as soulful or community led activities and classes. It feels like we need more support groups. Maybe there's more like peer led spaces because people are longing for that kind of um, connection. And also calling in um, childcare for folks. That's
Mhm.
a kind of an access need that we have rarely been able to provide. And calling in, we're going to have a weekly queer yoga class on Sundays, which is a long time coming. We've had queer retreats, we've had queer events,
Right. Right.
but it feels really important to gather and strengthen our resilience as a queer
Mhm.
community right now. And what else are we calling in? Um, More free classes, more free gatherings to just continue to rest and envision collective liberation. And to that front, we are fundraising, we're applying for grants, but also, um, yeah, looking for mutual aid in terms of, yeah, folks feel inspired by our vision. If you feel like this longing for everyone to have access to yoga, meditation,
Yeah.
movement, acupuncture, to donate and give from the heart and trust that that's
Mhm.
gonna ripple out for good and ripple back to you.
And what else would you like folks to know as we wrap? Is there any message that you feel is on your heart that you just want folks to hear?
Hmm. Yeah, I just long for folks to trust the wisdom, the love, the energy that's coursing through them,
Mhm.
and to be curious. There's this practice in yoga called Atma Vicharya, which means like soul questioning. So to like ask ourselves questions and to allow kind of like a soul inquiry to be part of a regular practice for us. And for me, that often looks like, oh, is this loving? Is this kind? Like either what I'm about to do for somebody else or how I'm talking to
Mm.
myself.
Mm.
Yeah, and there's something else coming through about, I guess it's a similar thing to trusting the energy that courses through us. Also, just like if it's time to rest, like let us rest. Like that we
Mhm.
like that, you don't have to be the strong one. Like you don't have to be the smart one right now. Like you don't have to have your shit together. Just like to let ourselves be like messy and human and at times we're gonna feel helpless. And
Mhm.
there's like a wisdom and a care that's going to shine through if we like kind of turn towards that and also um, ask for help. There's this quote that the beginning of the question of every religion is like, help me.
I see.
So yeah, to like continue to ask for help, whether that's like an internal question, whether that's a prayer to the universe, whether you're putting out, uh, asking the community help, and to not be disconcerted, to not feel dejected. Well, feel what you need to feel, but don't give up if you don't get an answer right away, whether that's from your internal questioning or from asking the community or the petitioning or the protesting that you're giving, to just trust that you're on God's path. You're doing your soul work.